Hey, hey, hey. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, collective. Soul Tribe members, subscribers, whoever's listening to the sound of my voice at this time. Today is February 25th. It is 6:37 a.m. I didn't sleep too well last night, I can tell you that, collective. Remember that time is fluid, so when they receive this message, it's when you're meant to see it. It's when you're meant to see it. I'm going to leave it right there. All right. The other day, I was reading something, and it was responding to mistreatment. I read this the other day because I have questions, right, about, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing in God's eyes, right? And also from my heart, am I doing the right thing? Let me read this first, okay? Responding to mistreatment. This came from, which one? February 19th reading. And this one's been sticking with me because this is something that's been on my mind. All right, responding to mistreatment. Don't be discouraged if persecution comes. God blesses those who suffer for the sake of righteousness. Hardship has been a common experience in Christianity ever since the apostle first proclaimed the message of salvation. And though we may never face things like imprisonment or death for our beliefs, we've probably all felt the sting of rejection and ridicule. I felt that, right? A lot of us, have felt that. Peter wrote to a group of believers who were treated harshly because of their faith. His goal was to offer encouragement and a reminder to follow Jesus' example. Our sinless Lord, who died on the cross to bring us to God, was openly mocked but never responded with anger. I ain't got there. Instead, he patiently suffered in full submission to his Father, entrusting himself to him who judges righteously. He trusted God no matter what was going on around him, right? How people were treating him. People were being unfair, disrespectful, because of who he was and what he believed, right? His faith. Without this perspective, we could quickly descend into self-pity or angry resentment when we're mistreated. I can testify to that. I'm going to share this because I need to do this. You guys know, I talk about how things have, unfolded in my relationships with my family, my children, people that I love, you know what I mean? And, when it came time to be available for someone that I feel has mistreated me, right? Have abandoned me, rejected me, and ridiculed me. How do I respond to that? I thought that I had let that go. I thought that I had healed through it. And what in actuality is, I still have resentments. And I have resentment because there was no accountability. All right? No accountability, no apology, no, it's just I need, you know what I mean? And I found myself getting angry. I found myself saying things I shouldn't say, right? That I would not normally say, but to feel like my back is against the wall, right? Because there's still resentment. There's still some anger. There's still unanswered questions, right? For me, even though I'm still trying to do what's right in the eyes of God, I'm trying to do what's right in my heart. But there's still some unhealed parts of me that I thought I had dealt with. You don't know if you dealt with something until you're come face to face with it. You understand? And your reactions. Peter wrote to a group of believers who were treated harshly because of their faith. His goal was to offer encouragement and a reminder to follow Jesus' example. Come on, Spirit. Our sinless Lord, who died on the cross to bring us to God, was openly mocked but never responded with anger. Instead, he patiently suffered in full submission to his Father, entrusting himself to him who judges righteously. Without this perspective, we could quickly descend into self-pity or angry resentment when we're mistreated. But Peter reminds us that we are blessed when we suffer for the sake of righteousness. Not only will we receive a reward in heaven, but we may also have an opportunity to be a witness for Christ. A wise response to ill treatment flows from an understanding of God's ways. We can trust our Heavenly Father knowing that He can work every situation out for our good and His glory. Now, fast forward to today. I've been praying and asking God what to do because a part of me is like, I keep hearing myself saying, but nobody was there for me. But nobody was there for me. You know what I'm saying? And God has brought me through. God was my provider. He was my salvation. He was my protector. He was my healer. He is. I'm just saying, in those times when I was alone, isolated, by myself, without the support of my family, friends, and loved ones. Those people that I will cross fucking water for. And it's not just the people that I love. I will do that for anybody because I've done that for anybody. And I was looking at, I'm going through it in my head. It's like I can do it for a stranger because a stranger doesn't have that connection to me as a loved one does, as those that I expect to be there for me. And I was struggling with this, and I was praying last night, and I'm asking God, listen, I need you to talk to me. I need you to communicate with me. I need you to show me the way. Am I wrong for the way I feel? I'm not wrong for the way I feel. And I try to explain to God, listen, I'm human down here. And when I wake up this morning, what do I read? Finding clear guidance. How does a believer hear God's voice? That was this morning. That was my reading this morning. When I woke up this morning, I looked at it, and that's what it said. Because last night I was like, God, please talk to me. Please tell me in the way in which I should go. Don't let me get in my own way. Right? And it's not just the fact that I can't do it. I can do it. But you know what it is? Let me be honest. I'm afraid of them. I'm afraid of them because they were able to penetrate my field, my emotional field, man. And so often and so many times when I was vulnerable, when I let my guard down, I was hurt, man. I was hurt. I was abandoned. Purposefully. This was done purposefully. And I really feel like, in a way, that they want me to disconnect from God. You understand me? That's how I see it. I see, if you're trying to invoke an emotional response from me, if you're trying to break my spirit, then you're trying to separate me from God. Now, mind you, in these past few years, I had to find out that God was my only friend. God was my only support system. This is part of this journey I've been on, so that when I plant my feet in today, it's all God's work and nobody else's. Because nobody else helped me through this. Nobody else was here for those days and those nights that I cried and I begged and I prayed for God to relieve it. I don't have a problem supporting and helping anybody, even those that done me wrong. But how far do I have to go, Father? You know, how far do I have to go? Will they come in and will they try to take me back to hell? To where you brought me from? And I've been struggling with that shit, man. Because I ain't going back. I'm not going back to the way I was. I'm not going back to the way I allowed you to use and abuse me. I'm not doing it. Excuse me, y'all, but listen. Alright. How does a believer hear God's voice? He answers me. Lately, he's been answering me. Every time I cry, every time I beg and ask for his guidance, he's been giving it to me. Yeah? How can you know you're making the right choice? Right? Because my whole fear is allowing people in my life that hurt me only so that they can sabotage me again. So they can put me in conflict and chaos and confusion. God is not the author of confusion. He's the Prince of Peace, salvation, comfort, satisfaction with or without. He's given me that. He's given me a new lease on life. And I honor that by respecting myself first and respecting others. Sometimes it may feel as if God is keeping things from us when we're trying to know His will. But that's not how He operates. He wants to give us clear direction. So what must we do to hear His voice? Clear the pathway. To receive the Lord's guidance, we must repent of all known sin and make our desires secondary to His. Exercise patience. Sometimes it takes great strength to stand still when everything within us is shouting, hurry, time is running out. But if you rush ahead of God, you may miss His will. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. The Bible, persistent prayer. The Bible instructs us to keep bringing our concerns to God, to the Lord, right? As we continue to pray, He will gradually weed out anything confusing until we come to understand His thoughts on the matter. Search the scriptures. Come on now. The Word of God provides wisdom for all of life's challenges, and the Holy Spirit points us in the right direction. So often we're faced with a critical choice. All we want from the Lord is a quick answer. Yes. But He desires something so much greater, to deepen our relationship with Him. Don't let the urgency of your need keep you from enjoying the intimacy of God's presence as you seek His will. Let me see what, and then Psalms 25. Come on, baby. Oh, Who is the man who fears the Lord? He will instruct him in the way he should choose. That's it. But something else I wanted to read from the other one, though. Because I did a lot of reading. I think it was in Deuteronomy. Was it? What was I reading? Let's see what Peter says. 1 Peter 3:13. Who is there to harm you if you prove zealous for what is good? Right? If your mind is set on what is right and what is good, who can deter you? Right? Who can harm you? But even if you should suffer for the sake of righteousness, you are blessed. And do not fear their intimidation, and do not be troubled. But sanctify Christ as Lord in your hearts, always being ready to make a defense to everyone who asks you to give an account for the hope that is in you, yet with gentleness and reverence. I was lost. I was in addictions. I was in abusive relationships. And not only that, I had people around me that were counting on my downfall, not believing in me. No support system. Being left out, abandoned, rejected. That's how I felt. Because for the last 5 years, I've had to do everything by myself. You know how many holidays in the past 5 years that I had to go through with no communication from my family? No happy birthdays, no happy Thanksgiving, no Merry Christmas. No nothing, no President's Day, no none of that shit. Made to feel unworthy of that privilege. And it is a privilege to have people around you that care about you, that genuinely love you and support you, even when you're not in the best position. I was cast out, man. That's how I feel. That's how I see it. And over the years, I've learned to accept it. But even offering my support, whenever it was required or asked of me, I did it. But what I'm being asked to do is way more than I expected I would need to do. And, and I don't feel like it's out of, I'm resistant to it not because I don't want to do it, but because I'm afraid. I'm afraid to let those people around me that I am real clear that have caused harm or caused me to have to suffer more than I should have. And that bothers me. There's resentment there. I have to be honest. There's resentment there. There's resentment there that I didn't even know I had until I was asked to do something. That means putting my guard down, and allowing energy into my home that would disrupt my peace, that causes chaos, confusion, anxiety, sleepless nights, having to be on my guard. So that means my body's constantly in a tense position, right? Always got to watch my back. I can't live like that. That would be taking away that peace that my Father gave me. He's telling me to trust him. But I trust him, but is this what he wants me to do? That's the question I ask him. Am I doing this because it's what's right and this is what you want me to do, and then therefore I know that you will protect me and you'll provide and you'll make sure that things go accordingly? Or is it my ego? It's not my ego, it's my heart. It's because it's something I would do for anybody. But I don't know how to do that to somebody that I know actively wants to see me separated from God. What else did I read? Was it Numbers? I don't know what I was reading. Matthew 5, 11, 12. Blessed are you when people insult you and persecute you and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward in heaven is great. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Hardship has been a common experience in Christianity ever since the apostles first proclaimed the message of salvation. And though we may never face things like imprisonment or death for our beliefs, we probably all felt the sting of rejection and ridicule. I guess it ain't meant for me to read the rest, something else that I read today. Maybe that was just for me. Let me see, I'm just making sure. There it is, Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 12:14. These are the statutes and the judgments which you shall carefully observe in the land which the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you to possess as long as you live on this earth. You shall utterly destroy all the places where the nations whom you shall dispose serve their gods, on the high mountains and on the hills and under every green area and every green tree. You shall tear down their altars and smash their sacred pillars and burn their Asherim with fire. And you shall cut down the engraved images of their gods and obliterate their name from that place. You shall not act like this toward the Lord your God. But you shall seek the Lord at the place which the Lord your God will choose from all your tribes to establish his name there for his dwelling, and there you shall come. There you shall bring your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, the contribution of your hand, your votive offering, your free will offering, and the firstborn of your heart, of your herd, and of your flock. There also you and your household shall eat before the Lord your God, and rejoice in all your undertakings in which the Lord your God has blessed you. You shall not do at all what we are doing here today, every man doing whatever is right in his own eyes. Am I making a decision because I feel like it's fair? Karma, what goes around comes around. I don't know if y'all ever remember me saying, but I don't wish nothing I went through on any of my enemies. I don't, because I know what it's like to be there. And nobody be there for you. For you have not as yet come to the resting place and the inheritance which the Lord your God is giving you. When you cross the Jordan and live in the land which the Lord your God is giving you to inherit, and he gives you rest from all your enemies around you so that you live in security. What did I say? I didn't feel safe. I've seen it. I've experienced it firsthand. I'm not in a state of I don't know what happened. I seen it. I was shown it with my own two eyes. God allowed me to see it in action, and the devastation the disappointment. All to invoke a spirit in me that no longer resides in my life. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, you and your sons and daughters, your male and female servants, and the Levite who is within your gates, since he has no portion or inheritance with you. Be careful that you do not offer your burnt offerings in every cultic place you see, but in the place where the Lord chooses is one of your tribes. There you shall offer your burnt offerings, and there you shall do all that I command you. However, you may slaughter and eat meat within any of your gates, whatever you desire, according to the blessings of the Lord your God, which he has given you. The unclean and the clean may eat of it, as of the gazelle and the deer. Only you shall not eat the blood. You are to pour it out on the ground like water. Be careful that you do not forsake the Levite as long as you live in the land. This is about things you should be eating and things you can't eat. Deuteronomy 12:28. Be careful to listen to all these words which I command you, so that it may be well with you and your sons after you forever. For you will be doing what is good and right in the sight of the Lord your God. When the Lord your God cuts off before you the nations which you are going into dispose, and you dispose them and dwell in their land, beware that you are not ensnared to follow them after they are destroyed before you, and that you do not inquire after their gods, saying, how does these nations serve their gods, that I also may do likewise? Do not conform to other religions, other cultic practices, right? Idols, worshiping things that are not of God. You should not behave thus toward the Lord your God, for every abominable act which the Lord hates they have done for their gods, for they even burn their sons and daughters in the fire to their gods. They sacrifice their own. If a prophet or a dreamer of dreams arises among you and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder comes true, concerning which he spoke to you, saying, let us go after other gods, whom you have not known, and let us serve them. You should not listen to the words of that prophet. If you're listening to somebody, because you guys know I do tarot, and if you guys are listening to somebody telling you to go worship this person, or put that on your altar, or do this trick, or do that trick, you know what I mean? Don't let them fool you. Don't be deceived. God is the ultimate authority in all things. You should not listen to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for the Lord your God is testing you to find out if you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. You shall follow the Lord your God and fear him, and you shall keep his commandments. Listen to his voice, serve him, and cling to him. I am clinging to him today. You know, I pray, I'll do anything you want me to do, Father, but just don't let nobody separate you from me. Don't let nobody separate me from you. In the past, when I was surrounded, I may have or might have follow some others. But that's not the way it played out. How it played out was I was separated. I was extracted. Because I didn't fit. I didn't belong. I never felt like I did, and I didn't. But the prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has counseled rebellion against the Lord your God, who brought you from the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of slavery, to seduce you from the way in which the Lord your God commanded you. To seduce you. Like that snake came up and said, surely you won't die if you eat the apple. Surely you won't die if you commit to this idol, if you practice these ways, if you do these things, if you keep these things, these little images and idols and trinkets and stuff, surely you'll be fine. That's that same little motherfucker that tricked Adam and Eve. He's still here. He's still here. You want to make something go on your way, do this, do that. No, baby. You get on your fucking knees and you pray, and if it don't go your way, then it was not meant for you. God who brought you from the land of Egypt and redeemed you from the house of slavery, to seduce you from the way in which the Lord your God commanded you to walk. So you shall purge the evil from among you. Who's trying to mislead you? Who's trying to sacrifice you for their God, for their Baal, or whatever the hell you call it, for their wooden idols, for their statues, for their ancestors, for their spirit guides? For those that trust in other things outside of God, stay the fuck away from them. Stay away from them. Now, that brings me back to my question, my original question, right? Is that what you want me to do? Do you want me to step into the fire? Although I walk through the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Here we go. If your brother, your mother, son or daughter, or the wife you cherish, or your friend who is your own soul, entice you secretly, saying, let us go to serve other gods whom neither you nor your father have known, of the gods of the people who are around you, near you or far from you, from one end of the earth to the other end, you shall not yield to him or listen to him, and your eyes shall not pity him. Ooh, Father! Nor shall you spare or conceal him. Here I go. Grace and mercy. Grace and mercy. Spirit said, you shall not yield to him or listen to him, or your eyes shall not pity him, nor shall you spare or conceal him. Don't hide him. Don't brush it under the fucking rug. Don't be a part of it. It was God's will to expose the liar. But you shall surely kill him. Your hand shall be first against him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people. So you shall stone him to death, because he has sought to seduce you from the Lord your God. What did I say? Who brought you out from the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. The same God that pulled you out of the fucking muck and mire, they trying to seduce you back in. How can you sit here and say that God didn't do it when nobody else around? But yet they still will try to say that their God, their belief system, whatever they believe in, whatever they use to get their way is better. Then all Israel will hear and be afraid and will never again do such a wicked thing among you. So you shall stone him to death, because he has sought to seduce you from the Lord your God, who brought you out from the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. Mental, emotional slavery. Physical slavery. Then all Israel will hear and be afraid and will never again do such a wicked thing among you. Somebody's going to be made an example. If you hear in one of your cities, which the Lord your God is giving you to live in, anyone saying that some worthless men have gone out from among you and have seduced the inhabitants of their city, saying, let us go and serve other gods whom you have not known. This is somebody that's coming around into your environment, into your city, into your town, and they're seducing everybody around you to go against God. Then you shall investigate and search out and inquire thoroughly. If it is true and the matter established that this abomination has been done among you, you shall surely strike the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying it and all that is in it and its cattle with the edge of the sword. Then you shall gather all its booty into the middle of its open square and burn the city and all its booty with fires as a whole burnt offering to the Lord your God. And it shall be a ruin forever. It shall never be rebuilt. Nothing from that which is put under the ban shall cling to your hand, in order that the Lord may turn from his burning anger and show mercy to you, and have compassion on you, and make you increase, just as he has sworn to your fathers. Nothing from that which is put under the ban shall cling to your hand, in order that the Lord may turn from his burning anger and show mercy to you, and have compassion on you, and make you increase, just as he has sworn to your fathers. If you will listen to the voice of the Lord your God, keeping all his commandments, which I am commanding you today, and doing what is right in the sight of the Lord your God. That's that. That's what's going on. That's the energy. Alright? Whether it be mine, yours, or anybody out here. I'm sure a lot of us can identify with this right here. It's like, don't go back to the place that broke you. Now, will God send you back into the place that broke you? For what reason? Spirit said not to cover for them, not to hide their bad choices and their miscalculations, not to show them grace and mercy. No. That's it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it right there. That's the message for today. You guys stay up, stay safe. Deuces.